Hey there, welcome back. So, this week, well, first of all, how hot is it this week? Are you hot? Oh my gosh, how are you staying cool this week? Are you using a fan? Are you trying to go to places that are cool? Are you going to a pool maybe? Maybe you have one or someone you know has one. Are you doing like stuff with water, like splashing? What are you doing? Tell me how you're keeping cool this week. That's how I want to know. I am trying to stay in my house whenever I can, or stay here in the office or in the church, because my car is too hot and outside is so hot. So whatever way you can, stay cool this week. Okay. So I have for you this week a story, and it's a story that it's one of the stories that Jesus makes up. Okay, and when Jesus makes up a story, tells a story to a group of people, there's a special word for it, and the word is parable. And a parable is just a fancy word, kind of a church word for a story that we make up to try to learn something. Okay, so this is a story about that where we learn something. Okay. So the story that you're going to hear this week, that you won't hear from me actually, we have someone, I'm going to be on a trip, and so someone else is going to be preaching, but this is the passage that they're preaching, and so we get to see how they'll preach it. His name is Pastor Jeff, and Pastor Jeff will be here, and he's a friend of mine. He's going to be the person who's going to be preaching this week while I'm on my trip. Okay, so here's the way the story goes. It's a story about a farmer. Okay, this farmer owns land, and they grow crops. I'm not sure what crop, maybe wheat or corn, or they grow something. Okay, and they have these places where they keep all the crops, right? All the food they make, they kind of keep it stored in a certain place. So let's pretend for a second that all the stored stuff that they have is this box. Let's just pretend that that's what it is. It's in this box, okay? So as the farmer does his work, right, that owns the land and does all the stuff, the place where they store the food starts to fill up, okay? And to the point when the place where they store all the food is now completely full, right? It's full. So the farmer says to himself, well, that's plenty of food, right? I'm good to go. What am I going to do now that this is full? Well, I should probably build a bigger place to store even more food. So that's what he does. He gets a bigger thing and starts putting his food in that. And now he has so much food, so much stuff. We're pretending it's not snacks, but it's like, wheat or grain or corn, things like that he's got so much food that now even his bigger container, now that's full, right? And in the story, Jesus tries to tell us through the story, because remember, a parable is like a story where we learn something, is like, hey, this was enough. This box full of things, that was enough for you. So why did you just keep getting bigger and bigger baskets when what you could have done was share what you had. And that's the story. And it goes on to talk about trying to remember the way that God made the world, right? And so God says, Jesus through the story reminds us that God made the world, and that if you look at the birds, right? If you look at a little bird, little birds don't have big store places, right? They don't have big refrigerators. They don't have big baskets to hold food. But God cares for the birds, right? Provides places for the birds to go and get something to eat. And so we don't have to be those who are really greedy, or who are really like only think of ourselves, right? We store up so much for ourselves that we don't share. There's this really cool video. Maybe the person who's showing this video can show you the video I'm about to say. The video goes kind of like this. You've got, in the video that I saw, you've got a mom, you've got a dad, and then you have a kid, right? Their child, son or daughter or something. And I think in the one I'm thinking of, it's a mom, a dad, and a daughter. Okay, and the daughter's maybe like 4 or 5 years old. Some of you might be 4 or 5 years old. And the mom brings out treats, right? Brings out cookies. And so she puts out 2 cookies. And so gives one to the daughter, and the mom takes one, but the dad doesn't have one. And so the dad says, "Oh, I don't have a cookie." And the mom says, "Oh, that's right, you don't have a cookie." And then asks the daughter, "Do you have a cookie?" And she says, I have a cookie. And then in the story, or in the video, the daughter realizes, "Oh, my dad doesn't have a cookie." Now, he doesn't ask her for one. He just kind of waits to see what she'll do. So eventually, the daughter realizes, "Oh, I should give my dad a part of the cookie, because I have plenty of cookie, right? I have a cookie here, my mom does. We should share, my mom and I should share the cookie with the dad." And so they break off a part of their cookie and give it to the dad. So now all 3 of them have some, right? Which is a wonderful way of sharing. And this story that Jesus tells, the video I was just talking about, maybe you've seen that video, but the story reminds us, and even the story about the bird reminds us, how much we have, right? And that when we have more than enough, right? Not everybody does, but lots of us have more than we need. Is that part of the good thing, part of the gift of being someone who has more than they need, whether it's food, or whether it's toys or clothes or something like that. That one of the really wonderful things, really one of the wonderful gifts that we get in life, is that we get to be people who share the things that we have. So I guess I wanted to ask you, what are the things that you can think of that you share? What are the things that you could share? And what do you think about the story? What do you think about the fact that people have more and more, and then Jesus is trying to remind them that not everything that they have to keep, but they get to share, right? That's part of the gift of being a person. So this week, what I'd like you to do is to think about some of those things. Think about the things that you do share, that you could share. Or even think about the things that people share with you. What are the things that people share with you that you really like, that you're so glad that they share? Like the dad was really glad that his daughter wanted to share with him, right? Well, because it feels good to do that. Well, what are the things that you are really happy about, really grateful for, that people share with you? Might be their time. It might be things that they have. Those are just things to think about this week, because that's the story. Well, I won't be there on Sunday, but I'm glad to share this time with you. But also want to just one more reminder for the person who's showing this video, that this Saturday is our summer celebration. And rain or shine, we're going to have food there. We're going to have a Shakespeare play that's going on. We're going to have raffle baskets. We're going to have games for kids and for grown-ups. We're going to have face painting. And we're also going to have, you get to smash a pie in my face if you give a little bit of money. It's called Pie for the Pastor. So there's lots of fun things to do, and that's this Saturday from 4 o'clock until 7 o'clock. It's right here at the church. We would love for you to join us. Okay. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with me. Thank you for sharing a little bit of time with me. I hope you have a wonderful day. Stay cool, and I will see you next time.